Welcome in Tar Heel Nation. This is the Tar Heel Herald. Before we get into today's discussion, remember to leave a like, comment, subscribe. Really helps the channel grow. Hit that notification bell. And if you know any Tar Heels, think about giving them a share. Alright guys, let's ram into it. So let's talk about the dead period. The dead period is lifting up June 1st. And there is an argument to be made that because of the lockdowns of the dead period in recruiting, a lot of programs saw a boost with in-state recruits. This is due to the NCAA restricting visits in person and on campus and everything in between. So after a while, they did eventually let kids come on campus unofficially, but the staff and anyone involved had to stay clear, couldn't talk to them at all. Now, if this is true, then we clearly benefited from this because we had a very deep class in 2021. And we didn't even grab all of the top end talent, with 3 of the top 5 going elsewhere. This class helped tremendously with having 19 blue chippers, which we got 11 of the blue chippers, and we got plenty of other people out of the state of North Carolina as well. And if you look back, North Carolina is up and down with the amount of talent it has produced. Now, in 2021, that was a phenomenal year. So yes, that's going to help us out. That it just landed perfectly in the right time to have such a huge class. Because if you go back and look at 2017, they barely gave us but 7 blue chippers. Just after 2016 gave Dexter Lawrence and Landon Dickerson with 12 other blue chippers. No, I'm not saying 2022 North Carolina class is having a down year, but it just isn't eye-popping, especially given the fact with the COVID status in North Carolina throughout the year. The state championships are just now around the corner, so they could be undervalued because of the dead period, which once you open up camps, I'm sure we will find a few hidden gems or diamonds in the rough in the North Carolina class, and hopefully we can scoop them up. However, the issue with the 2022 class is that it kind of lacks what we need most, which is the offensive line and secondary. Since the 2021 class had almost all of our top end needs on offense and defense, mostly defense, we didn't have to search elsewhere. But now that the dead period ends June 1st, we can open up more into neighboring states like Alabama, Florida, Georgia, Tennessee. Maybe even we can reach out to Texas. Mack Brown has some ties over there. With the top end talent in North Carolina, not really all of what we would like it to be in the positions they play, the staff will have to squeeze itself into some battles out into these neighboring states. Although we may not need to have a great class, we have embedded ourselves into Virginia on a year that we're actually deep in talent in this Virginia class, and we've already snatched up a few guys. We've snatched up 3 Virginia guys, 2 blue chippers already, 1 offensive tackle. We're going to have to get some more offensive tackles, of course, which we're fighting for some in Virginia as well. And even if 2022 class doesn't end up being anything huge and spectacular, like it doesn't get into the top 10 or anything, and maybe it falls into the 20s, that's not going to hurt us in anything as long as we're plugging in the correct holes. Like I said, offensive line and secondary really is what we need to be looking at, filling in the most. And then, I'm sure we've already gotten some other key spots as well. But if in 2023, though, North Carolina and Virginia have down years and we can't rely on them to fill a lot of our class up, like in 2021 we had mostly North Carolina, and in 2022 it looks like Virginia's going to help us out a ton, and we may have to poke ourselves into a lot of these battles nationally, and hopefully by then we have reached nationally, because we may have to rely on getting ourselves into these neighboring states, especially if we want to continue that upward trend. But hopefully in the future, North Carolina can continue producing numbers close to 2021, at least close. We don't want it to drop off. It kind of averages out to be around 14 blue chippers per year, which isn't too bad. Hopefully we can at least stay around there. But just think if the 2022 class replaced the 2021 class with 12 blue chippers instead of 19, we may not be looking at such a great class coming in comparable to this year. We got 11 of those 19 blue chippers, so we got as many blue chippers as the entire 2022 class from North Carolina even has. So I don't expect the 2022 class to be a huge class. I just hope we can cover the key spots again. So hopefully we can capitalize at least this year on Zach Rice and Gunnar Givens to solve somewhat of that offensive problem. I know a few DBs are offered in Virginia as well, but it looks like we're going to have to go elsewhere if we want to solve that issue there. That's why I think we may have to try to look towards that more in 2022 if we can't squeeze in some top-end talent here. I know they are trying hard to get Jaden Lucas and Dalen Everett, both 5 stars, but those guys are going to be very tough to get. We're also going after Jake Pope from Georgia. Looks like a really good hidden gem. I think he's going to come out as a safety. He does look good as a wide receiver, but I believe we would try to keep him as safety because he looks great in the coverage back there. In 2023, with the help of a great season, could vault us into the national scene, where we aren't limited to a 500-mile radius. Or somehow this staff proves it's worthy now and after June. Once they allow visits and in-home visits, they may pull in some big targets from neighboring states. If they don't, then we will have to rely on the deep Virginia class and a decent North Carolina class again, and hopefully can trend into 2023 on fire. I am curious, though, to see what this staff is made of in 2022, because everything will be changing yet again for this staff. And with everything opening up in June, they can get some flips in. All the QBs we offered have already committed elsewhere, so are we going to be forgetting about a QB this year? I don't know if we can, with the possibility of a transfer after Sam leaves, with the battle between Drake May and Jacoby Criswell. One may transfer if they don't win the battle. Can we flex our strength with this staff and get a flip on a QB? All our QBs we offered committed to the likes of Georgia, Bama, Clemson. So that's going to be tough to see if we can do something like that. We always have the transfer portal, and we may just continue to use that slot for other needed depth, and then maybe use the transfer portal just to bring in some depth as a quarterback, or maybe we bring in someone to try to even get the QB battle going. 2023, it will be a big test to truly see where we stand at the national level and how much we can flex against everyone else. It will obviously matter if our staff stays together and intact. So it could be tougher for us going forward until we get into this 2023 class. But this staff is still grinding out the 2022 season, and plenty of time left on the clock means there's plenty of flips or plenty of time we can get into some kids' top 5s or whatever's going on. So I won't cast any doubt on them closing a top 15 class. I just won't assume that we're going to be getting in the top 15 or top 10 or anything like that, because this 2022 class looks a little bit difficult to more difficult to wrap in versus 2021. So, but that's going to be it for this one, guys. Let me know down in the comments what you think this recruiting class could look like in 2022 and 2023, whether or not you see it continuing upward or not, or maybe we have some down years. But comment down below. Remember to leave a like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and if you know any Tar Heels, leave them a share.